it's all right, everyone. I want to move number 5 to the first business. Assuming that you're here to speak with administration.
Just if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. It was an oversight on our part. Unbeknownst to me, I thought all 9 were classified as block clerks. Mine, as she's court solicitor, was classified as that. So when the pay increase to a law clerk went through, she got excluded.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's
just an oversight.
That's the chief among those positions, yes.
No, she became court solicitor a couple of years ago. That's job been done by a number of folks over the years.
Okay. Any concerns? There was something in the agenda packet that I had originally included because I was curious about questions, but actually got those settled before the meeting, so that's good. Then number 1 and 2, both for the software for register wills, and I hate this word from the notary. Did I do better? Prothonotary. I like it better. It's
just regional.
A little bit easier. Yeah. Paying the bills. Get done. Number 3, ordinance number 7, amending the 2024 general fund budget. We discussed this at the last finance committee meeting. Any questions there? Seeing none. Number 4, waiver of purchasing code and approving a single vendor contract and renewal of the 3-year West Library maintenance agreement for county law library and court library.
I'm Max Peaster, law librarian. I think I submitted, I thought, a pretty detailed justification statement, but just in general terms, we use a vendor called Thomson Reuters, formerly known as West. They provide probably close to 3/4 or 2/3 of our print collections for both the law library and the judge's library. An LMA, or a library maintenance agreement, is advantageous for the purpose of locking in a steady inflationary rate over the course of a 3-year period. According to analysis performed by the company, we're going to save about $3.5 million over the course of the 3-year, as compared to what the retail cost of it would be. The library is used by the general public, the legal community, and the court system. I see a couple library users here, Tom, and I think it's a good resource.
Any questions?
Thank you for your consideration.
All right, moving along, we have number 6, an approval of the settlement agreement between County of Erie, Mill Creek Township, and the Township School District and Mill Creek Township General Authority, a pilot agreement. There, we got anybody to speak on?
I could speak to that.
Yeah.
At every closing, and in this particular case, it wasn't any different, when the new authority out in Mill Creek purchased all of the properties, they should have paid all of the taxes at closing. They didn't pay they did pay county taxes, but they failed to pay the school taxes, probably an oversight, or maybe they didn't have the money at the time, I'm not sure. But anyway, when they applied for tax exempt status, the school district filed a challenge against it because they hadn't been paid their taxes. So this is about an agreement in which the school district is going to be paid their taxes. Again, we've been paid our taxes. The general authority has agreed to pay them, and we're agreeing to it. That's what this agreement is.
And do we want to go through all these one by one, discuss them as we got items number 7 through 29 repositories there. Not sure if we had anybody to speak
Well,
to
one
those.
is tax.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, exoneration of taxes, number 7.
Brock, I put together a spreadsheet if you guys want to see it. I mean, if you don't mind me belaboring this point for a second, the first one was a trailer out of the Lakeside Cemetery. The trailer's gone. So it, you know, it was 20 years old. So there's $186.03 of taxes still left on this trailer. They're just looking to exonerate those taxes. City and school district have already said yes. The next one is a local businessman that on his paperwork that you guys get, he's gonna buy that, it's land up on East 32nd Street. And he's planning on new construction on that land, so he's gonna put a house up. Then the next 4 are all gonna be part of East Bayfront Greenway Trail. So those are all land also. All these things actually today are all land. Now, then the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 17 of them being bought by that company. You know, according to the paperwork they turned in and their use, they're gonna put it into a guardianship or they're gonna cut the grass and we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Landscaping.
The last one does give me pause. I get concerned when there's a lot of speculators that own significant portions of our community. But they're the ones offering to buy it.
You said there's a local company?
They're from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Number 8 is the local company, the local guy.
Somebody showed up here to actually fill the paperwork out. You know, they show us their name and address, but I don't, you know, the LLC is actually incorporated not in Pennsylvania.
It's in Massachusetts, and
Yeah.
it looks like they're buying most of the properties on the east side.
Yep.
And it looks like, there's no price, all it says possible sale, so we don't know what they're paying for it.
All 250.
And so I can just tell you, no, I'm a no on every one of them. The solicitor, and we've had some discussion about this in the past about it, and I thought that he says, well, we can't treat them any differently. And I said that we should put a moratorium on them and at least raise the prices up. We have all these speculators. Most of the time, the people in the neighborhood don't even know the property is available. They're inundated with so many other life circumstances to deal with. They have a lot next door to them. They don't even know that they can own for $250. And then you have some corporation come in, buy 10, 12, 15 lots for $250 a pop to say that we're going to cut the grass, and then never cut the grass. You don't see the grass from Massachusetts. You know, they do the same with the rentals, the out-of-state rental. We're paying them rental assistance money, and we got our people living in virtually uninhabitable properties because there's a lack of affordable quality housing here. So I'm gonna no against every one of these. I think that the city, all 3 taxing bodies ought to have some conversation because Erie is getting fleeced.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Paul, are these properties scattered or are they in a row?
No, they're scattered. You have like East 4th, East 8th, East 22nd, East 24th. There's 3 on Prospect Avenue, sorry. Fairmont Parkway, Woodlawn, Glendale, another one, couple on Woodlawn. So they're around, they're all on the east side, but they're not together. Well, there's one on West 20th and one on West 23rd. So they're around.
They're all the same neighborhood, Prospect, Woodlawn, Fairmont Parkway. They're all in the same footprint. They're a block away from one another in many instances. And then even the redevelopment portion, they're buying up 3, 4, 5 apartments on the east side, East 60, 70, 80. They're all in the same footprint too. And so I don't profess to have the answer, but I don't believe the answer is selling away our property to out-of-town speculators at $250 a pop. I just don't.
I suppose that's why we take these things, we take a vote on. We have the right to refuse the sale, right?
Has the city or the school district signed off on these already?
That's
We're the
not
last
answered.
body normally.
And I don't know if that's a committee, a subcommittee, Mr. Chair, of all three taxing bodies represented. But this is crazy.
Right.
We just raised those people's taxes, record high taxes. And it's, oh, these are blighted properties, all properties that went off. But we know we got the card. He knew these people's property wasn't going to be worth nothing 30 years ago when they sold it to him.
I do know that. I do know that the city turned down 4 of those properties, and I believe they may be the same ones that Paul referenced that were on the East Greenway project. The city had declined smart properties and instead took those themselves for that project. So they've already done some selection there.
Well, I suggest, well, my recommendation would be while we're reviewing the administrative code, like I said, that we absolutely, this is like a whole nother year in, and we've had another 10 speculators come here. There's no, there has to be a way of cataloging how much of this property we've already given away. And I will say given away at $250 a pop. And I would be real interested if the tax assessment office or whoever's whoever's conducted all these sales. I'd like to see how many of those we've given away since 2021 at $250 a pop and who is purchasing. I think it would tell a telling story.
Would be an interesting thing to request.
Mr. Chair, it's really probably the only remedy is to increase the amount. And I think the authority, the authority to increase the amount is with the municipalities. But otherwise, you'd have to look at state law, and all of these people and that we're being asked to approve have already bought these properties from a judge after following all of the judicial notices on that for over a year. So one problem is that it, not only is it a shame that outside corporations get to come in and buy this property and hope that its value increases over the future, but it's sad that nobody in Erie has any interest in buying these properties for $250. But I don't see any other remedy unless the local municipalities decide to increase the value of it. Otherwise, you're into, the person will go to court, file suit, and ask the court to make the county and the other municipalities go through it, transfer the property, because they've already purchased it legally through judicial sale.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so in my final comment to that is over a year ago, we had this conversation. Chairman Shank was chair. And again, I'm asking that we at least consider any option that we have to increase the value of this property so that we're not here the rest of this year and next year still talking about us giving away valuable land at $250. Land is power. And the moment they signed that, they received that property if nothing's on it. And that property went from $250 to $2,000 a lot.
I think the last
Or more.
couple of times we talked about raising the price, we were supposed to find out the avenue to do that. But I don't know if we ever.
I would think we,
Chris, go ahead.
I would think that if we knew about these properties sooner, we could evaluate them. Right this minute, we're being, given properties that are already legally sold. So our hands are kind of tied at this moment to do anything about that. But, if we want to move forward, like Councilman Horton is saying, and, address these, because really it's a company coming in, buying these properties, and they're reselling them to make money on them. They're not buying them for fun. I think that it's something that in the future we can look at. I'm not sure that we can do much about this right now.
I would submit to you for argument that the future is now. And maybe we can't do nothing about what's sitting in front of us on this paper, but we should do something without delay.
Yes.
So I'm asking the solicitor, I guess, would you outline or could you give us some guidance on how we go about changing that that $250 price to a more competitive price?
Well, I think it'd be nice to know when we get these on what a empty lot on East 32nd brings in tax rate compared to East 8th, an empty lot, for our tax dollars, what that would do to the budget, or even with a single family home on, you know, if it'd be nice to know what it's worth. We may be farther ahead for some of them to be sold, but as long as they're maintained. But looking ahead, it'd be nice to know what kind of tax revenue they would.
And to your point also, because knowledge is king, Mr. Wynarski, because certain lots are going to carry higher value on them. And so the subcommittee, they're in the subcommittee, Mr. Chair. Maybe it will consist of someone from the school district and the city as taxing body, those two taxing bodies, because this is untenable. There's only a fixed amount of land or property here, and this can't go on like this. And if our counselor will set that ball in motion for giving us the guidance to do that, I don't know if we need that placed in the form of a motion or whatever, or is that just like, hey, the wish of that's the wish of the body? But this is untenable.
You know, what's interesting about just raising the price though is $250 is untenable for a whole lot of people of Erie, and raising the price to 1,000 just raises that bar of entry for them. But certainly not for the speculators that already have money on hand. Just raising the price is not solve the problem really. These are the ones with capital in the first place.
And maybe
people of Erie don't have that.
And maybe posting. The utilities come put a big old sign on your door when your gas is getting ready to cut off or your electric cut off. Yeah, I've been in there at that position. Poor kid, young 11. I've got that sign before. Maybe there's a way of posting right there on the property itself, so at least the residents know they have an opportunity to purchase it. I know it's online throughout, and anybody all over the world can see. They can purchase it. But then you run into the technology gap. These people don't even have access to technology. Yep, right here in Erie. Yeah, and so you say, oh, everybody got a phone, kids have. But the mama or grandma on East 7th to East 8th Street that's been there 30 years, nobody wants to come by her house because of the neighborhood. You seen that, you knew that was coming 30 years ago. But she didn't know. So now she's there, she can't sell it. She does sell it. She's taking a bath on it. She should at least be able to know that someone thinks your neighborhood's worth something. So they're buying up 6 lots here at $250. Maybe you might want 4 or 5 of those lots. Maybe you might want to grow food there.
You want to Paul, with number 30, the unassigned fund balance.
Oh, okay. To answer though Jim's question, I'll send this out to everybody. The value of these properties, the land value, like the one on East 8th, 605 East 8th, well, that's the last one for the East Bay Farm Greenway Trail. So let's go down to which would be the 14th one, 111 East 8th Street. The land value is $8,600. Delinquent tax is $2,900. They've been out there since for 2013 and 14. Most of them, there's about $150,000 of delinquents here. So, you know, there's some money there, but the land value for most of these is not high, $13,000, $14,000. So.
Well, that's a great investment, return on your investment for $250. I think that's great. If I could get 10 of them for $250, man, and get that return, no, that's better than the market.
If you sell.
We,
I'll take 10 too.
But I don't wanna pay the city tax.
right.
The other thing, how long does that property sit there not, being taken care of?
Well,
And there's no, right, I was at a meeting yesterday, we have 1,000, or the city has 1,000 citations out there that the district justices just keep, I'm saying it, just keep pushing it down the road because they're afraid to upset their voters. And, you know, I saw some of the pictures of some of these residents and it's not a pretty sight. And can you see all these? The same thing happened from this same company. They're not gonna come in and take their one piece of property. They're either gonna do it all or nothing.
Well, there's lots by now because all the liens and stuff have been cleared off of them. And so they just got a clean piece of lot right out of most of these, if not all of them. They don't have to do anything, just come there, cut the grass, get a maintenance managing company or whatever, but you know, those lots are worth more than $250.
Will at least collect more for taxes on an empty lot that is maintained than you do one that is delinquent in taxes and nobody's.
And so if it's a lot, I'm saying that committee should try to figure out, there's a lot of questions to be asked. How do you notify the residents? Should residents, lifelong residents have first dibs? Should there be, you know, there are a lot of questions.
And that can go out with the county taxes or the city taxes. Hey, there's, and we can say, or go to the website for,
Listen, we can have a guy go there and drive a stake in the ground, put a sign there, this lot for sale. If those who live in this neighborhood interested, call this number.
there's a lot of simple.
There's a lot of simple things that I don't think that we're doing. I think right now, people are just so inundated with the vicissitudes of life. A lot of times they're just trying to get in and out, and get home. And then you see somebody coming in, throwing stuff up or tearing something down in your neighborhood, and you're like, I didn't even know that lot was available. I hear it all the time. So I get the problem on both ends. I'm not professing to have all the answers, but all I know is $250 a lot just don't seem right.
Every couple move forward. All right, now, number 30, please.
if all the ordinances on the finance agenda pass, the estimated general fund unassigned fund balance will be $47,022,896, and that's $24,700,000 above the $22 million needed for 2 months expenditures and transfers.
Barry, do you want to discuss the next three as a whole or one at a time?
I think we can do it as so.
Chair, I see that 33 has eliminated some language that I provided in my memo. I don't know why, but they should both be voted on separately, all three of them, because 33 is a different kind of committee. And I would suggest that we add back the language that somehow is missing. So that committee would be formed pursuant to Article 2, Section 5 of the Home Chart. And that committee would differ from the others in that it would have the authority to issue subpoenas and investigate and hold hearings.
And when we vote on this and after the vote, is there anybody on council that does not want to serve on any of these committees? I would like everybody on council to be on at least one of these. Does anybody have a problem? I'm not gonna list the committees that this is kind of a vote too.
Okay. All right, well, with that said, we'll adjourn finance committee
Not bad, not bad. 30 minutes, not dialogue, not bad.
I was trying to move that.
I see you trying to push us. He tried to push me, Jim. I wouldn't let him.
Jim, take your time.
Jim, you got the floor.
Like to call the Personnel Committee meeting to order. First on the agenda, not official ordinance yet, but appointment of official salary ordinance, full-time assistant public defender. Anybody here?
Yes, we're here for that. My name is Nicole Stone Ponder. It's nice to meet those I haven't met yet. And I'm here with my colleague, First Assistant Michael DeJohn. The Home Rule Charter actually requires council to set salaries on appointed officials such as assistant public defenders every time we have a vacancy, which is why I'm before you right now. We have recruited 2 attorneys to fill 2 of our vacancies in the public defender's office. One attorney is a local attorney and she has 29 years of experience. We're thrilled that she was willing to join our team. I am asking for $37.82 an hour for an annual salary of $73,749. Sorry if I'm going too fast. This is 6% above posted salary because of her many years of experience. The second attorney that we would like to hire is a new attorney. He was number 13 out of 133 in his law school class. So we're also very pleased that he has decided to join our team. I am asking for $35.90 an hour for a total of $70,005 a year. That's about 0.06, I think, above the posted rate because when we talked with him, we had said that our salary has now been bumped up to $70,000 a year. So we want to make good on that promise. And it's actually posted as just below it. We would ask for a second reading because both of those individuals have either started or are set to start, and they're just waiting for this ordinance to go through. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Cole, was the first amount?
Sure.
Please.
The amount, did you say?
The amount and the hour rate for the
Sure.
first. I think we have wrong information in here.
$37.82 an hour for an annual salary of $73,749. Am I okay on that, HR? Okay.
I think what we have in here is different. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I do, actually. Not so much on this, but I've read somewhere where the public defender's office is now or stated that they're no longer going to accept misdemeanors. Is that true?
We did that temporarily when we were, I think it was 4 full-time attorneys down. And we did that after consultation across the state. There's 3 other counties doing the same. So we worked really hard. We're doing actually 3 attorneys' jobs right now, he and I, Attorney DeJohn and I, and we're recruiting every single day. The attorneys they're not coming out of law school anymore. And when they do, they're not coming to Erie, Pennsylvania. So it's been quite a challenge. And we still are obligated to provide effective assistance and counsel to those who need us the most. So that was a decision we made for a temporary basis so that we can still meet our obligation to represent those people with the most serious charges.
Well, I think it said that you're supposed to represent all of the indigent people, and it didn't say anything about serious charges. It said that everyone is entitled to defense, and that we are mandated to provide that defense, whether it's a serious misdemeanor or felony, or whether it's a misdemeanor. I didn't read that anywhere else that we limited to serious things, and that's very, very concerning because and so how temporary was that? And do we stand to look at doing that again? And if so, why would I pay money to hire some more people in a budget that we've already adopted if people aren't going to be served who need it the most?
Right. We do have those same concerns. when we're at full complement, our attorneys were handling, our full-time attorneys were handling 393 average cases a year, which is multiple times above the recommended standards. So unfortunately, our attorneys up here, they're known to have an exceptionally high caseload and a very, very stressful job. So which impacts our ability to recruit and our ability to retain. So thanks to, I have to say that Breton Davis is very supportive of us and our mission, and we've been working with the administration to find ways to assist the attorneys in being able to satisfy their obligation. But they're also obligated, and this is the rules of professional conduct, they are duty bound to withdraw when there are too many cases to be able to handle the matters appropriately. And because of the video now on both the dashboard as well as police officers now have, I can't remember.
Body cams.
Thank you. Yes, body cams. Because of the increase in technology, I mean, they're wonderful because you know what's going on in any situation, but somebody has to look at those. And so the amount of work for a typical case isn't the same anymore because there's so much more review of the discovery materials, in large part because of the technical aspects, both the body cam,
I mean, we get the workload.
Yes.
I mean, I've been recording
Yes.
more than I care to be. I get all that, and I get the onslaught of the new video and the body cam and all of that, but I can't reconcile the Constitution to that says that I'm entitled to a defense. If I'm indigent, don't have where I fall below the poverty level. So Charlie falls below the poverty level, and he comes before you, and it ain't no real serious thing, but he ain't got no money. He working with us. He don't get a lawyer.
Well, you know,
I gotta go get a paid lawyer.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I have the Public Defender Act right here. And specifically what it says is the public defender, after being satisfied of a person's inability to procure sufficient funds to obtain legal counsel to represent him, shall provide such counsel. So we have opened it back up. Some of those people that we declined previously because they had misdemeanor charges, what the district judges did for the most part is they just postponed it, hoping that we would be able to hire people after the pay raise went up. So what we're doing now is we're taking a look. We're also looking at individuals coming in because we're still technically multiple attorneys down, and we're saying to them, okay, you know, we see here that you make a certain amount. Sometimes they'll tell us they work under the table, and sometimes they won't provide us with any kind of income, and that's a problem because we're being very careful to make sure that we're representing people who really need our services because we only have so many attorneys and so much time, and we have an obligation for those people that really
This
need
isn't
us.
an attack because my niece actually worked for you over that you paddled that office, and I have to know that you might all do fantastic work, and I know that the hands that you dealt, but still, poor kid from 2 blocks from here. It's my obligation to ask, what about my cousin, my nephew? How's he get defended? Really, my argument is with the district justice and the police because we're overcharging. The district justice should be discharging a lot of it, so we wouldn't have to pay all these ad litem, conflicted, all these additional costs that are basically amounts to unfunded mandates. So we can't dig in the pocket and say, hey, it's not going to increase your lawyer pool or anything. So, but hopefully, and I'll get up off of it. Hopefully that never happens again here in county, where we say we cannot defend, we cannot uphold the Constitution. It says that everybody has the right to due process and legal representation.
Oh, we agree with you. We haven't been doing this for almost 20 years apiece to not represent as many people as we can. We absolutely agree with you. Yeah. Any other questions?
Second one, I think Nicole's already answered, which is great, which is fine. Number three, number third ordinance, not a number yet, appointed official salary ordinance director of administration.
We just wanted to be proactive here to get this in front of council. According to our pay plan, this is to Mr. Smith's successor will be starting on April 2nd. So we wanted to get it on the agenda and enough time for discussion and for 2 readings. And it is well within the pay plan. It's not, it goes according to the steps up that this person who is currently a director would now be the director of administration. So there would be an increase. That person would be making the same amount of money as the existing director of administration. That's pretty well in that neighborhood.
May I go back, though, just one, Mr. Chair? Sure. Because I do want to be upfront with you. Nicole, here this year, it's my recommendation that we don't do any movement from first to second. I think that the reason that it's designed that way for us to have a first and second read speaks for itself. And it would be my desire as an individual council, colleagues are certainly welcome to agree or disagree. But it would be my wish and my desire that this entire year going forward, that we allow the citizens a chance to look at everything that we're adopting as we're spending their money. And then it should be a second reading, and those exceptions that come down that are true emergencies can be taken on a case-by-case basis. But we should adhere to the first and second readings parliamentarily. I wanted to be upfront with you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I would just offer that in the case of hiring these individuals, this is an emergency. And that's just all I'll say about it.
And I would suggest that getting these people employed is the road to correcting the issues that you've pointed out, and having more people under their employee to be able to represent more people.
When's our next meeting? I mean, our next after this, our next regular meeting,
13th.
The 13th of March.
I'm sorry,
But I'm not talking about Tuesday.
oh, you saw that. Oh,
When we can revisit.
27.
Because I don't think that a month is going to make or break anything. I get what Mr. Smith said. We're all in the crisis here in Erie County. Everybody needs employees. And when under that rationale, it would all be an emergency. And stuff again, I would ask that we set a policy, that we stick to it, and that we, whenever we're possible, that we not pass things to a second reading. We've done so in the past, not for things like this, and then later to only have to go and find out we haven't had enough information, or we've done some stuff with some unintended circumstances. And again, I'd like for people who come to the meeting and interest, some people are county government junkies. They want to go through and look at this stuff, see how you're spending their money, especially in light of the record tax hike that we had last year and we're projected to have next year.
I will say that one of the employees is scheduled to start on Monday. So that means that she'll go that whole time without pay at all. And this isn't the first time that happened. Last 2022, one of our assistant public defenders, and it's the same situation where we were really, we really needed her to start, and she did, and she went quite some time without pay because it didn't go to a second reading the first night. Now, some people are independently wealthy and it doesn't bother them, and she was really kind about it, but I don't know these people's financial situations, and it could really be a hardship, and they're trying to really help the citizens of the area.
I mean, but your situation hasn't just got like that in the last 30 days. It's kind of been like that for the last 9, 10 months, right? Been like that for a year, right?
To find qualified candidates, it's been quite a battle on our part, like in terms of getting out there and just getting good candidates.
Yeah, you guys got to get a little bit better at what you do.
We are good at what we do.
I said, yeah, I didn't say you weren't. I said you got to get a little bit better. and there's always room for improvement. And so, and this is one of those areas, rooms for improvement, because I'm telling you, I've seen this with Cascade before, when it starts with 1 second read, 2 second reading, 3 second reading, 4.
First was Mr. Copeland.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, philosophically, I agree with Mr. Horton on the 2 reads. That being said, in cases where it is to help employees, to make sure that they are not working without pay, making sure that we are adequately staffed. This is definitely one of those cases where I feel comfortable for the better good of the county that it would move forward to a second read. That being said, for the most part, I agree with Mr. Horton that things should be full 2 reads.
And I mean, if it goes to second read, I'm certainly in support of it. But county council has to get a hold of this thing at some point. We've allowed some things to get away from us here over the last year or 2. And we need to keep our ship tight, or tighten our ship up. And so again, I'm in full support of. I know the work. I know the people. I don't know the new people. Hopefully they'll be as sharp as the old people. But I do know county government, and I do know what parliamentarians suggested we should do the first and second reading. And I don't know what that individual did. We just had a whole conversation on poor people getting defense. Some of them poor people they do know that they're not gonna have nothing next month. They do know that they're not getting a check. They do know that they're getting a high rent bill. They do know that they're getting high gas, high light bills, and they have anxiety about how they're gonna pay for it. And when we try to offer up means to pay for it, the administration says, we can't pay for that because there ain't no plan. And so we come down and say, who's more important? I think the citizen.
Well, then they should know that they're gonna get representation, and by us putting this forward to a second, they're gonna have that assurance in a more timely manner.
And I'm gonna support it. But again, I would prefer in the future, this is for everybody else in the FEMA county, you bring that stuff back down here in front of me, and it's not an emergency. I'm
Well, I think that, that's why we're forming those 3 committees. We're gonna tighten up to have better government in Erie County. And I think it gets the department heads knowledge that we're not gonna go to second reads and, pardon me, not to hire somebody without it going through a second read. I think we all have to play by the same rules, and that's why we're doing those 3 committees. And I will support right now a second read because the person is already hired. We know we need these people, but I agree with my 2 colleagues. We're gonna tighten this up and we're gonna go through 2 reads. We're gonna know that, and you guys are gonna know that, and we're gonna play by the rules.
Don't hire them unless you got a second reading.
Ms. Karen? Please,
That's
go
fair.
into a potential second.
That's why, if the sense of urgency, if it's an essential service, and that doesn't happen often because we're trying to be proactive. So we know we have to be more proactive as well.
It actually happens far too often. Here, we get these all the time. It's an emergency. It's something that's not okay. It's just not okay.
Did you have anything else, Mr. Smith?
Oh, I had a smart aleck comment.
Okay, we'll move on to number.
I love something.
We'll move on to number. Possible appointment of Sandy Morrow to the Erie County Land Bank, term to expire December 31st, 2028. That was my appointment. They'll get their support. Number 5, possible appointment of EJ Fike to the Erie County Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission, term to expire December 31st, 2027, and Mr. Copeland. Possible appointment of William D. McLaughlin Jr. to the Erie County Planning Commission, term to expire December 31st, 2027. That by Councilman Copeland. With that,
Mr. Chairman, before we adjourn, I think we need a brief executive session with our council for the personnel issue. I'd move that we go into an executive session that.
I second that. Second that.
Okay, thank you all.